came all the way back up. The most important thing to note about this is that how the candles were making lower highs and lower lows. Right? Can you guys see the lower highs and lower lows? It's very important. For price to continue moving bearish, it has to make lower highs and lower lows. So this candle eventually closed like a doji candle. So this means that candle opened and closed at the same point, but if someone entered sells over here, they probably took profits here and would have left a runner. Now, we see the next candle, 1 hour candle. Notice how it has no wick on the top, right? So when a candle is bearish, and it has no wick on the top, what does it say about volume? Is there a lot of volume in the bearish sense, right? Yeah, it's very high volume. Now I see, like, guys are interacting, and I'm loving it, because that's what we like, interactivity. And then you had 2 1-hour candles. This had a lot of volume. This closed like a doji candle, and this closed like a small bearish candle. Right, so now we essentially broke down that one solid 4-hour candle into multiple 1-hour candles. This is where, if you're in a 4-hour candle trade and you see a 4-hour candle go down and then go up, because when this 1-hour candle formed, this went down and then it went up. So what it meant with the 4-hour was that the 4-hour went down and then the 4-hour went up. So if you were only looking at the 4-hour, you must have been like, oh man, like this candle went down and now it's coming back up. So I don't know what's going on. But when you're looking at the smaller time frames, you're like, okay, well, it's still making lower highs and lower lows. So for the 4-hour to continue bearish, you want the lower time frames to continue making lower highs and lower lows. Could you look for support? No, we're not talking about supports, resistances. We're not talking about Fibonacci's, harmonics. We're not talking about, no, we're only talking about what we're talking about right now, right? This is very important. We're just talking about this instant right now. That's it, So this is how you're mainly breaking down the smaller time frames to see how the higher time frames are building up. If you think the higher time frame will continue moving bearish, then you need the smaller time frames to continue making lower highs and lower lows. If you think that the higher time frame is going to go bullish, you want the lower time frames to continue making higher highs and higher lows. Someone asked, isn't the long wick a price rejection? It is. It is a price rejection. But if we're looking for price to continue going bearish, we are looking for this candle to respect the high of the previous candle, which is why you're placing your stops above the candles. Once you took a sell when this candle formed, your stop is up over here. This candle moved down, you bring your stop above the high of the candle. When this candle forms, you're bringing the stop over here. When this candle forms, you're bringing the stop over here, right? Because it's going down. So you're bringing your stops above the highs of the candles. Makes sense? Because that's the bearish trend. Last 4 bearish together with a different correct beginning turn bearish. Yeah. Oh, yes. Look, Juan said the right thing. He said that if there was a support formed, there would have been a bullish candle closed. All right. So let's move on to the next example here. We have a lot of examples. Isn't this the doji we ignore? We're not going to talk about that right now. That's a little advanced concept. I'm probably going to, in 2 weeks' time, I'm going to create like a better, well-versed webinar on doji candles and stuff like that. So we're going to cover those topics then. All right. We have another 4-hour candle, and we have 4 1-hour candles, right? So now take a look at this. When this 4-hour candle was bullish, when it was forming bullish, at one time it went bullish like this, and then you had candles going like this bearish. Now notice how these candles are leaving wicks, but they're making lower highs and lower lows. This is a lower high, and a lower high, and a lower low. So just based on the 1 hour, it does seem like price can continue moving bullish. Someone asked, how are these going to help us execute trades? Again, all your questions are going to be answered. I don't know why people are asking questions right now. When I announced in Slack, don't ask questions in the middle of the webinar, because it's a very streamlined webinar. It breaks my focus. So let's just continue on, and all your questions are going to be answered. right? This is just for your understanding purposes.